Hey guys, another beautiful day in the beautiful life. I hope you're doing well. And I hope that you're safeguarding your energy from things that just don't feel well in your heart or your spirit. Yeah. I did take notes on a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. Um, I need to stop saying. First off, and it is going to be a mixed bag as per usual, but somehow everything connects because that's how life is. Everything is interconnected in some way, shape, or form. It's like a huge spider web, you know? That's why, like, if you're a INFJ or you have a similar operating system, um, you see things from many different angles. And the angles could be like very far from the topic itself, but then somehow they intersect or interconnect. I was thinking about it and I was thinking, what is the difference between flight and just not tolerating nonsense? What do I mean by that? So, whenever we feel uncomfortable, we have a tendency to resort into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, right? So, I was wondering, like, for instance, if you have to have that uncomfortable conversation, or if you are afraid of venturing outside of what's considered normal for you. So you're staying or you're fighting with the elements that you are encountering. Like what is the difference between like fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and just not tolerating nonsense? Number one thing, number one thing is, oh man, I had it and it just slipped away. First of all, like I think it takes radical trust in yourself. Like a lot of people are afraid to try new things because it's challenging to step out of their comfort zone. But if you are one that has a tendency to regularly step out of your comfort zone, then a lot of times when you are just like leaving, it's, it's not flight. It's like not tolerating nonsense, right? Think about it. You've considered all the angles. You've created a file in your mind of patterns, consistent patterns that you have recognized and observed. And at some point, a situation, a connection, a relationship, anything has proved that it's no longer worth your investment in attention, in time, in energy, in anything, right? And so that's a difference, right? You've done the necessary work to observe and take in information, patterns, including like your own, considering yourself, considering the other, considering both, you know, and you've concluded that this is not good for you. And so you're no longer going to tolerate nonsense. That's the difference. Whereas some people, like, I want to say, like, for instance, this is a very common thing that I come across. If they haven't tried a particular food or drink, I'm scared. And so they have a tendency to like shy away from even trying something new or, just, yeah, that's the difference. I don't know if I made sense, honestly, but that's what was coming to mind. Yeah. For me, like, I don't mind having uncomfortable conversations, but if I have witnessed a consistent pattern in someone who lacks the emotional maturity to even have a conversation, then that's when I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to tolerate nonsense. I'm just going to walk away. I'm just going to retract all of myself and move in another direction. You know what I mean? Because some people, I haven't really encountered too many people who can have mature conversations without becoming defensive because of their ego. You know what I mean? Yeah, at that point, I'm just like, okay, this person is not capable, does not have the capacity to have a mature conversation and work towards a beneficial solution. So I'm going to leave. You know what I mean? It's just like, why am I going to say it? It doesn't make sense. Like, I'm going to walk away from this nonsense. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I've put forth enough energy to try to explain. Yeah, and usually these people who are like operating from ego, they lack the ability to take accountability. Like, they're usually the ones that are perpetually pulling the victim card. It's just like, I'm a victim. I'm being attacked. Woe is me. Instead of being like, hey, I can see where I've gone wrong. Let me like take accountability for that and course correct. No, yeah, these people don't have the capacity to do that. At that point, I'm done. Yeah. Before I've mentioned in many videos, honestly, I sound very repetitive, but repetition I feel is like one of the best ways to like retrain your brain. So yeah, hearing it over and over and over. But I used to give people so much chances to like, I don't know, come through, to change, to take accountability. I've given them so much chances, and my tolerance level was so long, and now it's not. It's just like, I see what I see, I recognize what's happening, and I make decisions and cuts as necessary. Like, and I don't necessarily like the time frame between that happening is not nearly as long as it used to be. It's pretty immediate, you know. Yeah, I used to gaslight myself into seeing the best in people. No, see them as they are. See them as they show up. They're showing you all the time. You know what I mean? If somebody is rude or inconsiderate or selfish, they're showing you. Like, why are you trying to make excuses and trying to gaslight yourself into believing something that obviously isn't there? Why are you trying to keep yourself delusional? You know what I mean? Um, Approaching a lot of things in life, I would like to bring up the restaurant analogy. I don't know about you guys, but I'm very particular about where I eat, what I eat. And I also consider like the cost of like the meal that I am eating, the meal that is being prepared for me to consume. I am very like selective. So for instance, restaurant analogy. And I'm just using my own personal perception, perspective, and preferences. But when I go to a restaurant, I would like the presentation, the quality of the food, the service, the ambiance, and the price point to be at a certain level. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just going to settle. And maybe that's being bougie, but who cares? I care. I care about like, if I'm spending monetary energy towards something, best believe these other things better line up. You know what I mean? From the quality of the food, quality of the ingredients being used, how it's being prepared, how it's being served, the presentation, ambience, service, these things better be at a pretty high standard for me to even want to participate in that. And you should be looking at life through that lens. Relationships, you know, um, environments, whether it be home or work or where you frequently frequent. You know what I mean? Like, are these things like at a certain standard, or are you settling for something that is just of very poor quality, if I were to be honest? You know, it's your life, it's your body, it's your everything. So why wouldn't you have standards? Like, if you don't have standards, then yeah, you're just settling. And I remember I was criticized by my mother for having high standards. And at first, like, I felt bad about it. I'm like, oh, okay, then maybe I'm just being too hard on people. Maybe I'm being too hard on myself, you know? But then I thought about it and I'm like, I'd rather have high standards than no standards at all. Because at that point, you're just settling for like nonsense, bullshit, stuff that's not good for you, honestly. Something that doesn't feed you, doesn't like nourish you, right? Think about it. Like, your relationships should nourish you. The environments that you enter into or reside in should nourish you. Restaurants, if you're eating something, it should nourish you, you know? So that's the way I view life. That's the lens, and that's the example that I would like to give you, and that's some food for thought. Are you settling for things, or are you actually investing in things that nourish you, that feed you? you know? Um, on another page, people can have catastrophic effects on your life. Absolutely catastrophic effects on your life. And that is like a catch 22, because on one end, it is completely destructive, but then it is also giving you the opportunity to destroy a lot of like, I want to say, elements or parts of yourself that can no longer go where you're going. Do you understand? So like when you're ascending, when you are like trying to raise your vibration, when you're trying to enter a different level or tone of life, you're going to have to release a lot of dead weight that cannot elevate with you. Like you can't elevate, like for instance, a balloon. Think of a balloon. If it's tethered by like a heavy object, it can't rise, right? But once you release it from that heavy object, it flies, right? Same with you. So like, yeah, it's a catch 22. Like, look at the people in your work environment. Look at the people in your home environment. Look at the people that you predominantly spend most of your time with. Yeah, these people can have either catastrophic events, no, catastrophic, catastrophic effects on you. But that's just literally an initiation, a challenge for you to let go of those things so you can step into a higher version of yourself. You know what I mean by higher version? Hmm. Think of it like a lotus flower. Like it starts off in like dense mud, but then as it rises, it has to go through the dense mud in order to get to like the surface of the water where it can break open. That's what I'm talking about. So at first it's going to feel sludgy and muddy and dense and yucky. But then if you keep releasing a lot of the things that are no longer in alignment with your higher self, it'll set you free so that you can reach to the higher levels and degrees, states of mind, if you want to say, that your soul is ultimately striving towards. Does that make sense? That was like a mouthful. Oh my God. Yeah. So for instance, it becomes, and this I feel like applies to everything in life. It's hard before it becomes easy. You know what I mean? And the hard part is getting rid of a lot of things that you are not, and getting rid of a lot of like patterns, belief systems, um, ancestral stuff that's not even yours to carry. Other people's stuff that's not yours to carry. You know what I mean? It's very deep and dark and dense. Like the illusions you've been fed by society, by family, by everything, yourself. These are all dense and dark things that you need to like work through in order to have the breakthrough. Get what I'm saying? And then once you get that breakthrough, um, you're gonna feel lighter. You're gonna feel clearer. You're gonna feel like everything is more of a flow. Like you're gonna enter like a flow state, like a state of effortlessness. You know, if you do hit another wall, you're being challenged to release more things. You know, and that's why like if you do have difficult situations in your life, like it's because you're, again, it's almost like an initiation. It's an opportunity to recognize things that you've been holding on to that need to be released. That's basically it. It's like a spiritual poo. you know? Like you'll feel free like once you release things, and then you might encounter another spiritual poo that you need to release so that you can feel freer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Um, I guess the best advice I can give you is just don't get disheartened. Whenever you like encounter like a block, just recognize what's happening. You're being initiated and you're also being challenged to rise to the opportunity to release a lot of things that you shouldn't be holding on to anymore. Things that you shouldn't be like investing in, things that you shouldn't be I don't know. And it could be anything as like it could be subtle, it could be dense. What I mean by dense is like dense is more like the 3D reality, like what you can touch and see and feel, like a job, a home, a car, whatever. You know, like material things. That's dense. You know, more subtle would be like emotions, thought forms, perspectives, belief systems. That's why I question everything. Like for me, whenever I like sit with myself, I literally just observe my feelings and my thoughts. And then I won't judge them, but I'll definitely question. I'll be like, why am I feeling this feeling? And then I'll kind of like go deeper into like, is this even my feeling? Is this someone else's feeling? Should I be carrying it? And you know, like if not, like I'll take necessary steps to release that energy, those emotions. Um Even thoughts. Be like, okay, I'm having this thought. Like, why am I having this thought? Where is this thought coming from? Why has it been? A lot of times, you know, like it's funny. A lot of times, like there is no real sense to it. It's just happening. It's like clouds in the sky. That's why I made a video on that. Clouds in the sky. You know, like you can ask the questions and inquire until you realize there's no reason to really even like inquire. Like you're just having a feeling. You're just having a thought. That's it. You just have to like let it pass like a fucking poo. That's it. You know? But for me, like I had to go through stages where like I needed to question things and I still do question things. I still like um cross check things. But a lot of times I just let things go. Like, oh, I'm having this feeling. I'm having this thought. Okay. And I'll just watch it until it like dissipates, literally. Um It just depends, honestly. And you would know what's best for yourself, not anyone else. You would know what's best for yourself. Like, do I continue entertaining this feeling or this thought? You know, and if not, then chuck it, you know? But if you feel like there's some importance to it and there's some kind of lesson or wisdom that you need to like harness from it, then of course explore it, you know? But yeah, question everything, man. I question everything. Like everything that anybody could ever possibly tell me, I will question it. Like how true is this? And then I'll like look at how much internal work that person has been doing. Like how do they know this? Like how clear is their channel? Like are they just like listening to everyone else and subscribing to that storyline? You know, dude, question everything. Period. Question everything. But at some point you have to just let things go too. Not, it'll weigh you down. It'll make you feel very heavy. You don't have to feel heavy. Anyways, as usual, I have talked about a number of topics. I don't know if anything made sense, but if you learned something, cool. If you didn't, that's cool too. You know, tomato, tomato. Just like putting the information out there. If you learned something cool, if you didn't, that's cool too. Ooh, before I leave, let's pull a card. Oh my God. And I know totally who cares, but my friend, my coworker, my friend, she gifted me the coolest ring. Look at this dragon. Rar. I love this dragon. Yeah. Anyways, let's get to the card. What will the cards tell us today? Huh. It is only heavy because you're deciding over and over again to carry it. Oh my God, weren't we just talking about that? Like literally about denseness and shit. It is only heavy because you are deciding over and over again to carry it. I love how shit like that works out. Anyways, have a blessed day. Take care of yourself. Safeguard your energy from nonsense. Yeah. Like seriously, like when people come to me and it doesn't make sense, I'm like, make this make sense. And most of the time they can't make it make sense. And so at that point I'm just like, okay, we're done. Like right now, like what you're saying, what you're doing, what's happening is not making sense. And instead of me like wasting my mental energy trying to make sense of it, I'll like put it in their court and go, can you make this make sense? A lot of times they can't make it make sense. And so I'm like, okay, we're done. We're done. I'm done with this. Like, done. Yeah. If somebody like asked me to make something make sense, I would probably have an answer. Or I tell them, you know what? I don't even know. You're right. This isn't making sense. See, I would either have something to back it up, or I would absolutely agree that what I'm doing is not making sense. But I wouldn't deny it, and I wouldn't try to like make like it was something it wasn't. Anyways, I'm gonna go. Else I will keep bambling and rambling. And I'm sure that you're tired of this. So have a blessed day. Take care of yourself, and blessings to one and all. Amen.